Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you to today's session on Destination Earth here at COP27. My name is Tobias Wiesenthal, and I'm Deputy Head of the Unit Open Science and Digital Modeling at the European Commission's Director General for Communications Networks, Content and Technology, or shortly DG Connect. I have the pleasure to co-moderate this session here today with my colleague Elisabeth Handusch. Elisabeth, would you like to say some words?
Hello, good morning, everyone, and also welcome to the session from my side. I am in charge of the Earth Observation Program Copernicus at the European Commission, the sister flagship program to Destination Earth.
Okay, thank you very much, Elisabeth. Now, in our session here today, we have three distinguished speakers, and I would like to very briefly introduce them to you. So we have Irina Sandu, who is the science lead for Destination Earth at the European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecasts. Hi, Irina. We have Nick Hanowski, head of the Mission Management and Ground Segment Department from the European Space Agency. Hello, Nick. And Lothar Wolf, Destination Earth Program Manager from the European Organization for the Exploitation of Meteorological Satellites. Hi, Lothar.
Good morning.
Irina, Nick, and Lothar, thank you very much for being here with us today, and we are very much looking forward to listening to you in a few minutes. Could we see the next slide, please? Yes, no, the next. Exactly, thank you very much. Now, this session is about Destination Earth. So what is Destination Earth? I mean, we are all aware of the urgency of the climate crisis, and we all have experienced the acceleration of extreme weather events over the last years. But in this situation, there are also many initiatives of hope that can help. I mean, none of them will solve the problem of global warming and climate-induced changes, but together there are a lot more than the sum of individual undertakings. And one such initiative is Destination Earth. So Destination Earth aims at creating a highly accurate digital model of the Earth, the so-called digital twin of the Earth. And this digital twin will help us addressing environmental damage across the EU, but also beyond, since climate change is a global problem. To build it, we will use our strategic digital capacities, such as high-performance computing and cutting-edge science. So Destination Earth will be a digital tool that we will use to monitor and predict the interaction between natural phenomena and human activity at an unprecedented scale. And in other words, it will help us to look into the effects of climate change from a high-resolution local scale to the global scale, and also to play with hypothetical what-if scenarios. And this ability to test different what-if scenarios opens up possibilities to analyze and to compare the impacts of different actions on the various socioeconomic sectors. This means with this tool, we will be able to design more effective strategies for climate change adaptation and targeted measures to mitigate the impact of changes where they can no longer be prevented. I'd just like to give you a few examples to illustrate. So Destination Earth will support near real-time decision-making with a resolution that can capture local events. Simulation of extreme events in a specific local area. Well, I mean, let's think about floods and their local impacts. Will give local decision-makers accurate, timely, and detailed information. And this will then allow them to timely design the optimal course of action. And the high resolution of the Destination Earth digital twin models, together with the flexibility to move smoothly from the global to the national, to the regional, and the local levels, could really make a difference for end users, such as green investors and local communities. It is a very ambitious initiative. And to deliver on it, Destination Earth leverages on substantial European investments and activities in strategic digital capacities, just to name high-performance computing, artificial intelligence, and high-speed connectivity. It also combines data from multiple sources, and it brings together European scientific and industrial excellence. But at the same time, Destination Earth will not just be a new toy for experts. Also, non-expert users will be able to access easily understandable information and insights in an interactive and intuitive manner. As you can see in the below timeline on this slide, Destination Earth will be implemented gradually through 3 different phases, the first one of which has started already. It aims at having a full digital twin of the Earth available by the end of the decade. This ambitious initiative is funded through the Digital Euro program and also complemented by funding to relevant research under the European Research Framework Program. And it is implemented by the leading international organizations in the field: the European Centre for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, ECMWF, the European Space Agency, ESA, and the European Organization for the Exploitation of Meteorological Satellites, EUMETSAT. So before now giving the floor to the three speakers from these entities, I would like to remind you, the audience, that you can ask your questions on Slido, and we will take them at the end of the presentations to the extent possible. You can see that there is Slido link and QR code. And I would also like to remind you that the full event is being recorded and will be accessible afterwards on the platform. Irina, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to introduce a bit more in detail the digital twin that will be delivered in Destination Earth, and our role at ECMWF in building the digital twins and delivering what we call the digital twin engine, and I'll go a bit more in detail, and the first high priority digital twins in Destination Earth. Next slide, thank you. So as Tobias just said, Destination Earth really aims at delivering a digital replica or twin of the Earth in support of decision-making in the context of climate change adaptation and of Europe's Green Deal. And this digital replica of the Earth aims to provide a holistic view of the Earth system, a view that it's creating by making the best possible use of Earth system observations and simulations, and of Europe's largest high-performance computing and data handling capabilities. And it will rely on a fusion of an unprecedented number of observations and higher resolution, more realistic numerical simulations. Initially, several digital twins will be developed, and in the long term, by the end of the program, this will be merged in one digital twin of the Earth system. And ECMWF is responsible for delivering the first high priority digital twins in the phase 1 on weather-induced extremes and on climate change adaptation. And a specific focus, one of the really key elements apart the higher resolution of the digital twins, is to bring together in the same modeling chain the components of the entire Earth system. That means both the physical processes and modeling of aspects relevant for important impact sectors like air pollution, like flooding, like wildfires. It will thus in this way provide co-located weather, climate, and impact sector relevant informations on scales where the impacts of climate change and of extreme events matter and are felt, in order to create the best possible assessment of societal impacts at the levels where the decisions are made. And this nice animation you can see here on the top right corner really which is produced with one of Europe's research projects, which is called NextGEMS, in which prototypes of the Earth system models that will be used for Destination Earth digital twins are being built. So this video shows the temperature when simulated with a resolution of 4 kilometers globally, which is unprecedented. And it illustrates very well why we need accurate information, not only at global scale, but also at regional, national, and even city level. You can very well see these very sharp gradients in temperature for different parts of Europe. And you can see the temperature varies very sharply, even from one country to the next, or within the same country between different regions. Next slide, please. Another key characteristic of Destination Earth digital twin of the Earth is that it will create an interactive information system, which will give the users the ability to interact with the workflows, the large data volumes, and the models developed in Destination Earth. And it will allow them to make the best possible use of the vast information amount that the digital twins will deliver. And as the data volumes involved are unprecedented, really, Destination Earth will also create a shift in paradigm where we move away from bringing the data to the users to bringing the users to the data, so that for the users it's transparent where the data is and they can interact with it, they can use it to make use for their own needs. Next slide, please. as Tobias said, Destination Earth is implemented by ECMWF, ESA, and EUMETSAT, and really builds on our expertise in our collective expertise in numerical weather prediction, in observations, in high-performance computing and data handling capabilities, as well as in supporting the user's needs, which are very important. And on our side at ECMWF, we are responsible for delivering the digital twin engine, which is really an orchestration of a software infrastructure which allows to operate the digital twins interoperably on different large-scale supercomputing facilities. And we are also responsible for delivering the first 2 digital twins. The first one will focus on weather extreme events on a timescale of a few days ahead, and it will provide kilometer-scale information globally in a continuous mode. That's what this is going to be built at ECMWF, building on our integrated forecasting system and our decades of expertise in numerical modeling, use of observations, and supercomputing. And it will have a second component, which is regional at sub-kilometer scale on-demand mode, where users can request various types of simulations. And this component is going to be developed by a strong consortium led by Météo France. The climate twin, the second twin, will be a climate change adaptation twin, which will provide information on multi-decadal timescales, also at kilometer scale globally, and will support the user's needs for climate change adaptation. ESA and EUMETSAT are also playing key roles in delivering the core platform and the data lake, which will hold the Destination Earth data and will link with existing sources of data, and Lothar and Nico will talk about that. But what I want to point out here before ending is that what is really key for Destination Earth in order to be successful is to have a strong synergy and partnership with existing initiatives. Destination Earth has to rely on the building blocks in numerical weather prediction and environmental services from national and European services like the National Meteorological Services and Copernicus. And in return, the novel methodologies and capabilities built in Destination Earth will feed back and boost existing service and capabilities. And like this together, we are really going to improve predictive capabilities in Europe in partnership. Destination Earth also relies on strong synergy with Earth system modeling and impact science as modeling and observation usage components of the first digital twins we are responsible for delivering, build again on existing models, but also on a new generation of much higher resolution models. And you saw a snapshot of the what these models can do in the previous slide, which are developed at present thanks to European Research and Development funding. Finally, but also very importantly, the success of Destination Earth relies on a strong partnership with technology and infrastructures because the fact that we can even envisage thinking and running the digital twins. It's only thanks to the recent advances in the last years in technology, infrastructure, supercomputings, and to the partnerships with initiatives like the European High Performance Computing Joint Undertaking, which will be key for powering and running the digital twins. And that's what I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irina. I will continue immediately with a quick question to you before we continue with the other speakers. And of course, we continue to invite our audience as well to interact with us and to ask questions so that our distinguished speakers can take them later on. Irina, in your intervention, you highlighted the scientific vision and ambition of Destination Earth. And I would like to ask you to explain more to us about how it is linked to, and also how it builds on research projects that we have conducted in the European Union in the past, but also in the future, in order to make this scientific breakthrough happen.
That's a very good question. Thank you very much. Because as I said, the fact that we can even envisage to build a new type of information system Destination Earth aims at delivering builds on investment in relevant science and technology aspects which underlie the digital twin, done in national and European programs, and investment from the research and development activities in Europe, of the European Commission in the Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe projects, in these underlying science and technology elements of the digital twins was and will remain key in the future. And ECMWF has a long history in both coordinating and contributing to Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe projects as they emerge, leading up to Destination Earth in areas like Earth system modeling, the fusion of observational data with simulations, the provision of operational services from Earth system monitoring prediction systems, but also in high performance computing, big data handling and machine learning. And the success of this past projects, which feeds now into Destination Earth and really allowed us at ECMWF to be in a position of delivering the first digital twins in Destination Earth and its technology engine. And a recent example is the Horizon Europe NextGEMS project, which really builds this new generation of what we call storm and area resolving models, which really can go at kilometer scale resolution, which will be now used to deliver the climate change adaptation digital twin, which will be delivered by a strong partnership led by the IT Center for Computer Science in Finland. And as well, recent technology projects like ESCAPE, EasyWays allow to start preparing the numerical weather prediction and climate models to these mixed architectures. And they are key for the success of Destination Earth. And this convergence of Horizon Europe funded cutting edge research and the Digital Europe funded technology capability provision by Destination Earth really, of course, in complementarity with the investments which are done in Copernicus, really define a new step in creating value for society, and it remains essential for improving our prediction capabilities in Europe.
Thank you very much, Irina. With this, we come to our next speaker. We will continue later on with more questions that we receive from the audience. Nick, I invite you now as our next speaker, Nick Hanowski from the European Space Agency. Nick, over to you.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be with you. I will focus a little bit on the core service platform as a key element of the Destination Earth initiative. But before I do so, I would like to start with the first slide to bring a bit the specific Earth observation perspective that the European Space Agency and our Earth Observation Directorate is bringing as a specific angle to the development of the system and the initiative. So from an Earth observation perspective, it was clear for many years that we are transforming from a situation where we were only able to analyze the past and the present into something that we called unofficially predictive Earth observation. And we started with a set of questions that is very much related to what Tobias was saying at the beginning. What if we create a comprehensive digital replica of the Earth that would able to simulate and observe Earth-human interactions with high accuracy, to harness the various technologies from high-performance computing to the various AI applications that are being increasingly introduced into a large range of different Earth observation applications. And with this set of what if questions that we saw, we were very happy to be able to link into the Destiny initiative under the lead of the European Commission with the specific role of the platform developer and integrator. Next slide, please. So again, before I focus in on the core platform, let me just emphasize that from our perspective, not only technologically and scientifically, the Earth observation perspective was our contribution to this endeavor, but also the realization that when we have four distinct European institutions but that can interact in a productive way here. With their specific competences, that this in itself is something that has a huge potential for harnessing the technologies and methods developed independently in a joined up system. And therefore, the whole initiative that is aiming at visualization, analysis, prediction and modeling as its core functional elements did not come out of nothing. So with the Commission, of course, Elisabeth, we have been building up Copernicus, we are operating Copernicus, and we are evolving Copernicus together into the future. With EUMETSAT, we have been operating, providing the satellites for the meteorology program of Europe, and of course we're also operating Copernicus satellites together and managing data together. And last but not least, with ECMWF, of course, we have a lot of relationships and activities out of the Copernicus context, but not only Copernicus. We are interacting and working on cutting-edge new data sets that can improve weather forecast, climate modeling, such as from our Earth Explorer missions, here in particular the EOLUS mission, I would like to mention. So in addition to the questions and challenges of Earth observation that I mentioned in the first slide, there's also this realization of the potential that these institutions in harnessing their complementary skills can bring together. Next slide, please. So let me focus a little bit on the core service platform of Destination Earth. Again, let me just historically relate to the significance of what platforms have actually meant for the community and for the domains that we have been traditionally covering in Earth observation, which is the fact that we switched the paradigm from bringing data to the user to bringing the user to the data. That's, I think, the underlying principle that all of these platforms are generating today. It's not only that paradigm that has materialized, but it's also the realization that a multitude of applications, functions, and services can be combined, can be integrated into such a platform. And you see on the right-hand part of the slide functional components that our Destination Earth core platform is intended to provide, such as a user portal, the data management, exploitation functions related to machine learning, to AI, and the openness to new services to be open in the sense that the integration of services and applications is facilitated by specific functions of the core platform. If you look to the left of this slide, you see a little bit the key elements, the key characteristics of this core service platform. The first bullet point here is emphasizing that this is really the interface to the user. So the proximity and the realization in the development and evolution of the core platform needs to be driven by user behavior and by the way that user expects this core service platform to develop over time. The second bullet is aimed at focusing on the development and exploitation aspect. So we are talking here about an environment that is not only focused on the visualization aspects. It's really about also the development and the maximization of the exploitation component that Destination Earth can provide. The third bullet is focusing on the aspects of interactivity when it comes to analysis, when it comes to the management aspects, and interacting with the digital twin outputs, with regards also to the applications and the simplicity, the driver for simplicity of the usage of the various platform functions. And last but not least, and that's really relating also to the future of Destination Earth, because Destination Earth is conceived as a multi-phase activity. The question of integrating complementary resources from entities, from individuals who have contributions to make in the evolution of Destination Earth, and this is a key aspect of the future development of various components. Again, focused at the level of the core platform service that we want to provide. So, in summary, the platform paradigm shift is materializing in this concept of the core service platform of Destination Earth, bringing the user to the data rather than the opposite, and maximizing the utilization with a multitude of applications, functions, and services in the most convenient and accessible way possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you, Nick, for this very interesting presentation. If you allow, I would have a brief follow-up question from my side. You mentioned already that ESSA has been very heavily involved in building the Copernicus data access services. So from this, what lessons will you bring to Destination Earth to enable users easy access to data?
Yeah, so I think there's three elements to answer that question. I think the first and the most tangible is actually the realization that we always tend to underestimate user community in terms of volume, in terms of diversity, and in terms of their expectation towards the system. So the system, the user platform, but all the functionalities of Destination Earth deriving from the experience over the last 10 years with the Copernicus data access is we need agility, we need scalability on the access to the output, to the contributions also to the system. The second element that I would like to emphasize is really the ability to harness industrial capacity and innovation. We always need to make sure that we have technical skills and experience that is available in the industrial domain that can foster the ambitions, and that we are always up in a state-of-the-art level with these industrial developments. And then last but not least, I would like to emphasize again that the evolution of Destiny very much depends on what I would call a dynamic evolution of the vision for Destination Earth. So working together with the Commission, with our partners, on something that, on a vision that is taking up also the potential as it's emerging, because I don't think we at this stage can really fathom the impact and the potential of Destination Earth at this stage and the system at this stage. So we need to keep up working together on a evolution, on an evolving vision of what Destination Earth can achieve in the future.
Thank you very much again, Nick, for this very, very clear answer. I would now like to give the floor to Lothar, our third speaker. Lothar Wolf from EUMETSAT, please.
Thank you, Tobias, and thank you also from my side for having the opportunity to contribute to this session and to this meeting here. Now, if we go on the first slide already. Yes, thank you. Now, EUMETSAT is participating Destination Earth because we have embedded the contribution to the Green Deal priority activities in the EUMETSAT digital strategy. So that means being part of Destination Earth is an immediate natural reaction of EUMETSAT. And like the other agencies, also we bring a set of unique skills that will allow us and that have allowed us to provide solutions that are really user-oriented, have an operational context, and support the success of Destination Earth in that sense. So in the Destination Earth a group of 3 implementing agencies, EUMETSAT is responsible for all aspects concerning the Destination Earth data lake. And of course, by doing that, we remain focused, of course, on the user communities, but also in support to their downstream applications, to which I will come later on again. If you go to the next slide, please. Now, the Destination Earth data lake, some key aspects to recognize. This goes far beyond Earth observation. many data spaces and that are playing a key role in Destination Earth that are in direct response to implement the Green Deal data space. And therefore, the Destination Earth data lake takes a clearly geographic distributed approach here. That's wise to do in order to support a federative access to data. That also includes certainly, and most of all, certainly the direct output that Destination Earth will produce via the model executions from ECMWF that Irina explained, which will be a core asset within the Destination Earth data lake. However, that being then combined with data from the other data spaces will allow what is the real necessity here, the support to near data processing and address this also in terms of the evolving data portfolio. Now, applied here are a number of really cutting edge concepts that have been developed in that sense, which is indeed across data space federated data access, as well the direct support to what is now necessary in today's data management, which is the support to big data workflows, provision and access to analysis ready data, data cubes, etc., in order to actually establish what I would call an overall data access service layer, which in the case of Destination Earth is something that doesn't exist today, which really goes beyond what is available today. So I would consider this one of the major breakthroughs here. If you could go to the next slide, please. Now, the way to do this and the way how our three agencies have chosen to approach this challenge is that we really concentrate on the key aspects here. And in terms of the data lake itself, certainly scalability of a service framework is fundamental to this. Because that allows also then to establish the fundamental partnerships and cooperations and collaborations that are needed in this multi-diverse environment in which we are working, such that indeed we can support the what-if scenarios and big data processing workflows. In that concept, we shall not underestimate the specific expertise of the three agencies and in particular also ECMWF's leading role in the presentation of data in that respect. And in summary, it will emerge into something what we call reference architectures and interface. Now, references mean they can be applied in different contexts, which we believe is a very important aspect for Destination Earth as well, in order to show that Destination Earth concepts that are being developed are really leading us into the future and can be applied across data domains. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, it's part of the EUMETSAT digital strategy to be involved in various activities in that respect. And here I just mentioned some, the European Weather Cloud, which is very much focusing on the meteorological Earth observation domain, but also the Copernicus Vikeo DIAS in support to Copernicus. And of course, here now the flagship Destination Earth data lake. Now, all this is built on real innovative, secure, and energy efficient cloud to edge technologies. That's very important because it's one of the priorities set by the European Commissions, and we need to respond to that efficiently, which what we believe is the case in this situation here. It is supporting the big data processing and near data processing, like as it was mentioned by Nick, is really important to concentrate on the implementing the paradigm shift from provisioning data to enabling the user to actually access the data where it is via such big data workflows. And last but not least, of course, we are supporting the development of industrial capabilities. It's very important this to concentrate on because industry will develop itself in terms of cloud-based infrastructure services, but also applications that will then showcase also the success and usefulness of what Destination Earth will deliver overall, and focusing on institutional research and technology collaboration in Europe and beyond. Yeah, so that is concluding my presentation. Thank you.
Many thanks to you, Lothar. Can you tell us more about the major breakthroughs that Destination Earth will reach in terms of new sources of data? And I'm also thinking here about non-space data, that will be made available to the community? And also related to this, how do you really integrate the full potential of artificial intelligence into it? Which facilities are you going to set up to foster the real explosion of the use of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, for that. Now, if we look at the what we call the Green Deal data space, we clearly recognize that it is in support to implementing Green Deal priority actions. And that is all about issues about climate change, circular economy, pollution, biodiversity, deforestation, and so forth. So as I tried to explain in my presentation, the aim here really is to create this one common data access layer that is the enabler for what later on are the higher level applications that will create further added value by federating the various data spaces. And that is something that doesn't exist today, and it does not exist today even in the scope and idea. So it's really a major breakthrough that will be delivered from Destination Earth in that respect. So if we now take the assumption that this has been established, that means we have a combination of indeed direct Destination Earth output, the accessibility of non-EU data spaces, to which also belongs citizen science data, Internet of Things, and users' own data in combination. This common data access layer will allow the execution of added value data set generation via artificial intelligence applications or machine learning. And in order to do this in the most efficient way, we are referring back to the reference principles of really doing this via distributed infrastructure and services, and the implementation via support to big data workflows, and data cubes being a real fundamental aspect here. So the combination of this will really allow that to happen, and therefore the Destination Earth components, as well as, of course, the service provisions of the data lake, will provide thousands of cores and hundreds of petabytes of direct data access in support to that.
Thank you very much, Lothar. Thanks a lot. We're starting now the question and answer session. And again, I would like to invite the audience to continue asking their questions on Slido. We have already received some, quite some. And Lothar, you made a very clear presentation on the importance and relevance of data. And so there is one of the, let's say, very popular questions is actually on data. And this, I'm curious, what data is necessary to create a digital twin of the Earth system? Probably you can elaborate on this one.
Yeah, certainly I could. Maybe I can also even share this with Irina, because recognizing the leading role of ECMWF in that respect. And therefore, I will restrict my answer now just to the principles we apply. So having the three components, the modeling, the twins, the core service platform, and the data lake, we consider the enabler for the execution of the other context. So this means the data lake will hold any data that is required for ECMWF to do their job in terms of the twin execution. Irina, maybe you would like to complement.
Yes, I can add something. I mean, you had it on my first slide. There are various sources of observations which enter even today in numerical weather prediction. And those are satellite observations, in situ observations. Every single day at ECMWF, we receive and make use of 800 million observations. Now in Destination Earth, as we go to higher spatial scales, it's not only about bringing in new data sources, and Elizabeth mentioned, you know, IoT in future phases, etc. But it's also making better use of all this data, because at the moment, because the resolution of the models which are used for weather prediction and for climate prediction is very coarse, you can't even make full use of the very high resolution of the space of the satellite observations. To give you an example, observations from different satellites, even if it's today at 20 95 kilometers, the real resolution, when we use it in the model, we smooth it out and we use it at the 120 kilometers. So Destination Earth will allow both to bring new data sets, but also to make better use by bringing the models at closer resolution to the resolution of the satellite. And there is the new generation of satellites coming, which will be even closer resolution to kilometer scale, it will allow to make better use of the investments in Earth observations in Europe and beyond, because the data is global. So it's satellite observations, in situ observations, buoys, synop data, and various sources of observations from satellite.
Thanks to both of you. We have more questions coming in from the audience. Thanks a lot for that. There is one that received high attention from among the participants, and this is about the users. To explain more about what is meant with bringing the users to the data. It's a question asked to Irina. So what does it mean for the user?
But I thank you. I will start answering, and perhaps Nick and Lothar want to add something. What it means is that the data volumes we imagine in Destination Earth are much higher. Imagine splitting the Earth in little boxes of 1 kilometer globally. That will produce a lot of data, and there are also we break the atmosphere in also in vertical levels. So the data volume is gigantic. So it will not be possible anymore to just download the data and use it on our computers, do plots, etc. So we have to find novel ways, and in Copernicus this is done already to some extent, with the CDS, but it's doing that on a larger scale as well, and so that the users can access the data through the core platform. The data will be in the data lake, as Lothar explained, and then the users can access the data through the core platform and use it where it is instead of downloading data. So that's what it means. But maybe my colleagues want to add something.
Maybe if I may, then I'll take over here. Maybe also to the first question, a quick comment from my side. I think when it comes to the data, what kind of data is useful, I think one of the key realizations that we are having on our side is that the synergies between different types of data are key in identifying new applications and services. So different instrumentations, radar data, infrared data, hyperspectral data, these are all very different Earth observation data sets, but they can work in conjunction and can really lead to results and insights that have not been possible previously. With regards to what is meant by users to the data, let me illustrate a bit with the Copernicus situation. I think we are all very proud under the lead of the European Union on how Copernicus is working with regards to the data access. We have more than 500,000 registered users on the Copernicus Sentinel hubs. The reality is that we are disseminating close to 300 terabytes of data per day via these hubs. So there is a huge data traffic that is happening. It's in that sense, Europe is the largest Earth observation data disseminator in the world. The reality is that this is not the most efficient way of really utilizing data and bringing the user into a situation where he can make maximum benefit out of the data. We see often that the ability to store data on the user side, actually also to have the bandwidth that are necessary to take up all that data, are limited on the user side. So in a sense, it's much easier if the user is brought into an environment where he, on one hand, finds the data completely that he wants to use, where he can select data sets that are relevant for his applications and services, and then finds the methods and the tools to develop and process the data in a sense that the data is transformed into relevant information in that environment, rather than having to download first all the data in order to go through this process. So that's the big change that we are seeing. This is what the user expects now. If I talk to my own children about how proud we are of disseminating all this Earth observation data these days, they also tell me that this is not the way to do it. We are not downloading all the data on our phones anymore, or on our devices to look. We are streaming. We are using environments where we can manipulate and utilize the data. I think that's where we need to be, and that's why that paradigm of a platform with the user at the data is key for us.
Thanks a lot, Nick. We continue with the next question from the audience. Participants are wondering about the benefits expected from this initiative. In very concrete terms, what does it mean for climate change, and can it help us to better define sources of climate change and root causes of climate change? I suggest that we address this question to all the speakers, maybe with very short replies. I start with Irina first, please.
Thank you. What it will do, it will provide destinationers. One of the things it will do is it will provide information at scales where we didn't have that type of information before. Think of weather time scales where extreme events happen. To have information globally of a few kilometers, 4 to 1 kilometer, or regionally at sub-kilometer scale, that's already going way beyond the current capabilities, where we have weather forecast data at about 10 kilometers. And on the climate time scale, it will go from providing information on hundreds, at the best tens of kilometers, at scales of 5 kilometers in the atmosphere and the ocean. So it will provide much higher resolution information, and the additional benefits are as well. So there are 3 key elements. There is the higher resolution information. There is bringing together the meteorology and the impact sector in one, and this interactivity aspect that we kept talking about. And it's complementary to other initiatives in Copernicus, for example, where the sources of climate change, like the Copernicus Monitoring Verification Service in Copernicus, that goes towards tracking the sources of emissions, etc. But what destinationers will do is these 3 components, which complement very nicely what we already have and the investments in Europe.
Thanks a lot, Irina. Lothar, your take on it?
Yeah, thank you. So complementary to what Irina says, yes, this being, of course, in destination Earth, the climate data, which has its certain time range, is interrelated with other data sources with a very different time horizon. And if you then put on the aspects we just discussed, the users to data, implementation of big data workflows, AI, machine learning, it will allow a very different level of information generation, allowing ad hoc decision making. That doesn't exist today. And that is what we will be bringing in.
Thank you. And Nick, from your perspective?
Just to emphasize what Irina was saying, this doesn't sound like a big change when you think from global to regional to local. But in terms of the workflows and the potential of decision-making relevant information being derived, this is a big change. And I'm using often an analogy to give people a feeling what this entails. So we are trying to do something for the big global challenges that in some sense, some of the digital twins are already achieving, for example, when it comes to urban management. People can understand scenarios for the development of their local environment, of their city, and data is fed into a system that is generating a scenario that people then democratically can decide on. That's the kind of workflow and democratic process that becomes a reality when things are taken from a global level to a regional level and even to the local level. So I think that scaling aspect is key in unleashing the potential of digital twins.
Thank you very much, Nick, and thank you very much to all of you. I think you've all underlined the importance that the user has in the whole setup of Destination Earth. And there's a very clear question on this. How will you find out the needs of possible users? I would give this to all of you, probably Nick, if you want to start on this. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a governance answer to this, and there's also a technical answer to this. I think, I mean, it's really important that the whole evolution of the system is accompanied by a user consultation and the requirements evolution process. That's naturally the role of the European Union, the European Commission. This is how we are doing it with Copernicus, and it's working very well. From a technical perspective, this is something where the core service platform, for example, will play a key role. We will see the behavior of the user. We will see the usage of the system per se as an indicator of developing needs and acceptance of usability of the output. So there are various benchmarks, I would even say, that can give us a strong sense where the user wants to go. The communication, the openness of the system is here key. In the end, this is also about transparency of generating relevant information. So the transparency that we want to achieve in all these workflows is such that we, by looking at the workflows, can also derive the needs for the evolution of the system. I think that's another angle to take this. But as you say, this is one of the key questions, and user consultation, requirements cultivation, and requirements capture is absolutely key for that process.
Thank you very much. Irina, Lothar, would you like to complement?
You want to go first, Irina? Or?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I completely second what Nick just said, and that is also reflected in actually what we call the data portfolio that Destination Earth is going to provide. And the data portfolio essentially will emerge into something that is a user-driven data portfolio. So directly addressing the needs expressed by the users via them running applications into Destination Earth context on one side, and on the other side via the needs expressed for further data output generated by the digital twins. Yeah. So yes, it's indirect, but it's clearly focusing on enabling the user to do this. And the third component here is also, we shall not forget the collaboration benefit, the benefit of very fresh, unthoughtful data generated by the users that can be remade available with Destination Earth as well. Yeah, so I see this as a cascade, a direct user interaction in the future to come in that respect.
I fully agree with my colleagues, and what I wanted to add is as well from the digital twin, when we build the digital twin point of view, we take the users along from the start. So both the on-demand extremes twin and the climate change twin, they have use cases embedded in the partnerships delivering the twins, where they selected applications in renewable energy, for example, in flooding, in air pollution, where is the idea of the co-design. And this is something really novel as well, of co-designing this information system together with the user from the start. And to give a simple example is that instead of just giving raw fields like we give wind speed to the renewable energy people, working with them from the beginning to see what can we give them as a direct output of the model to add value to the use of this data, instead of saving the wind fields all the time and giving that to them, designing and perhaps coding in the models the wind power generation and giving them exactly the information they need, so that the digital twins add value to what it's there now. And this is a very strong point. And we also have a tender which is currently under evaluation at ECMWF of specific use cases where the idea is again to interact already from phase one while the digital twins are in the making, to understand the needs of the users and tailor the systems together with them, in particular in future phases.
Thank you. And we come to the next question. The audience is wondering when other digital twins will be integrated, notably for the oceans, but there was also a question about sea ice and other projects for digital twins like Earth 2, based on ForecastNet or from NVIDIA. I think this is a question to Irina again.
Yes, but I think Tobias may chip in this as well. But let me start by saying that the digital twins that we are already building now, they are based on Earth system models. And we already see, so that means we simulate at kilometer scale the atmosphere, the ocean, the sea ice, and the land. And this NextGEMS model, which is developing, as I was saying, the next generation of Earth system models, which will be used for the climate twin, we can already see amazing features of the sea ice, simulating sea ice at 5-kilometer resolution, where you can see leads appearing and cracks appearing in the sea ice. So we already see in this new generation of models features we actually haven't seen before. So the first digital twins on weather and climate, they already provide weather and sea ice information. But then, of course, going forward, the idea is to have new digital twins, and we are currently discussing future phases and how of Destination Earth, and how these twins, which would provide more tailored information on this, on top of the system information point of view on weather and time scales, can come in. But maybe Tobias wants to add something.
Thanks a lot, Irina. I think we will come now slowly to the closing of our event. I would like to express a big thanks to all the speakers, and also a big thanks to our extremely active audience. We are very grateful to have received so many questions for you to have been able to make it so interactive. So the speakers have clearly highlighted what we are facing here with Destination Earth, that we are talking about a real breakthrough from the scientific perspective, about new ways of transforming data into valuable information for decision makers that will be a very important tool to combat climate change and to help us mitigate the impacts. And speakers highlighted very clearly the building blocks that we have here with top-notch research and innovation, exploiting the wealth of data that we have, including with artificial intelligence, but also very important sources of data that we have, like in Europe, for example, with our Earth observation monitoring program, Copernicus, that provides petabytes of data for Destination Earth, but also the importance of partnerships, of setting up this initiative. And speakers also highlighted that we are talking here about what they call a paradigm shift, where users are very much at the center, and where we aim to bring the users to the data and not the data to the users. So from my side, a big thanks, and I hand over to Tobias for some final closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and thank you very much to all of you and the audience. I think you did a great summary and highlighting the points, so I will not repeat them. Just from my side to say, I think what the speakers and the discussion and the Slido has shown us today is how Destination Earth can help us to adapt to climate change related challenges. As you said, by making use of cutting edge digital capacities and knowledge and data. But then in order to provide timely, science-based and reliable input for analysts and decision makers and users in general. So for all of those who have asked questions that were not specifically answered, we're really sorry about this, but it's a session of 1 hour. But we would like to let you know that we will keep all the questions from Slido and the chat to use for future events. And again, I would like to thank our speakers and my co-moderator, Elizabeth. Thank you very much, all of you and the audience, for a very exciting session. And I would also like to say a very big thank you to our colleagues who have done a great job in preparing the session. So thank you very much. And thank you very much to all of you, the audience. Enjoy the rest of COP27.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.